The Invisible Advantage: How Black Women Are Turning Adversity into Entrepreneurial Power. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today at this TED event. I'm truly honored to stand before you, carrying insights that have fundamentally shifted my understanding of innovation, resilience, and entrepreneurship in America. Recently, I had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing LaGenia Gee, a visionary whose work has sent ripples of transformation across the business landscape. LaGenia isn't just documenting success stories, she's architecting a movement that's redefining what entrepreneurship looks like in the 21st century. Through her groundbreaking research and advocacy, she's illuminated pathways that have empowered thousands of Black women entrepreneurs to transform their unique perspectives into market advantages. Her work doesn't just change businesses, it changes lives, communities, and ultimately our collective future. What Lagenia shared with me wasn't just inspiring, it was revolutionary. It challenged everything I thought I knew about who leads innovation in America and how it happens. And today I want to take you on that same journey of discovery. We're constantly bombarded with narratives about challenges and obstacles. We hear about gaps, disparities, and barriers. These stories are important. They highlight real issues that demand attention and action. But today I want to talk about something different, something that might fundamentally challenge your assumptions, something that flips the script on everything we think we know about adversity and advantage. Here it is. Despite facing some of the most significant barriers in the workforce, including recent data showing they lost more jobs than any other demographic in April 2025, Black women are not just surviving in the business world. They are leading a powerful entrepreneurial renaissance that's reshaping American business from the ground up. Let that sink in for a moment. The very group that statistics suggest should be the most vulnerable is actually demonstrating extraordinary resilience and innovation. Black women are now more likely than men to start new businesses, playing a central role in reshaping what entrepreneurship looks like today. This isn't just interesting, it's paradigm shifting. It completely inverts our expectations, and it raises a profound question that kept me awake for nights after my conversation with Lagenia. What if the very experiences that create obstacles also forge unique strengths? What if adversity, when channeled correctly, can become a competitive advantage? What Lagenia helped me understand is that we've been looking at this all wrong. We've been so focused on the barriers that we've missed the breakthrough. Let me share three key insights from our conversation that might change how you think about innovation, resilience, and the future of American entrepreneurship. First, Black women are at the forefront of America's entrepreneurial boom. They're starting nearly half of all new businesses among their demographic, a record high that signals growing influence and leadership. This isn't happening in spite of challenges. It's happening because these women have developed extraordinary capabilities through navigating those very challenges. Second, despite facing disproportionate job losses and policy setbacks such as anti DEI measures, Black women continue to demonstrate remarkable optimism and resilience. This isn't naive positivity, it's a hard earned practical optimism that becomes a critical asset for overcoming barriers on their professional journeys. Third, the tech gender gap is narrowing. More Black women are launching startups in technology fields than ever before, a trend that not only breaks stereotypes, but opens doors for future generations. They're not just entering the field, They're transforming it with fresh perspectives and innovative approaches. But these aren't just abstract observations. Let me bring this to life through the stories of three remarkable entrepreneurs that LaGenia introduced me to. Imagine walking down the streets of Harlem, the rich history and vibrant culture surrounding you at every turn. This is where Terry Johnson found her inspiration. After years as a travel writer, Terry noticed something profound. Luxury products rarely reflected or celebrated Black culture and history. Where others saw a gap, Terry saw an opportunity. She began creating luxury candles in her kitchen, each one designed to evoke the essence of Harlem's cultural icons and historic moments. But when she sought funding to scale her business, she encountered the same barrier that blocks so many Black women entrepreneurs: limited access to capital. Did Terry give up? No. She doubled down on what made her unique. She leveraged storytelling rooted in her community heritage. She built direct relationships with customers through e commerce, circumventing traditional gatekeepers. Today, Harlem Candle Company's products sit on the shelves of Bloomingdale's and Macy's. They've been featured on Oprah's favorite things list. But Terry's greatest achievement isn't just building a successful business, it's proving that cultural authenticity isn't just personally fulfilling, it's commercially powerful. Or consider Morgan DeBaun, who was working in corporate America when she recognized a critical gap. Mainstream media wasn't serving young Black professionals. The stories that mattered to her community weren't being told. The voices that needed to be heard were being silenced. When Morgan approached investors with her vision for Blavity, a digital media platform for Black millennials, she encountered skepticism. The market is too niche, they said. There's not enough demand, they claimed. Instead of accepting their limited vision, Morgan built grassroots support through social media. She bootstrapped operations, proving her concept with real audience metrics rather than hypotheticals. She didn't just talk about the need, she demonstrated it. The result? Morgan raised over $12 million in funding. Blavity became one of the largest platforms serving multicultural millennials online. She expanded into events and technology solutions through Afrotech. But perhaps most importantly, she shifted industry perceptions about the value and profitability of culturally specific content. Morgan didn't just build a company, she created a platform that amplifies thousands of voices that might otherwise go unheard. She didn't just identify a market gap, she transformed how the media industry values diversity. And then there's Jewel Burke Solomon, whose story challenges everything we think we know about who leads innovation in industrial technology. While managing parts inventory at McMaster Car Supply Company, Jewel encountered a persistent problem. Customers struggled to identify the exact parts they needed, leading to costly delays and mistakes. Where others saw an annoyance, Jewel saw an opportunity for innovation. She co founded Part Pick, developing visual recognition technology that could identify industrial parts from a simple photograph. But as both a woman and a person of color in the tech space, Jewel faced tremendous skepticism. At a time when female only teams received just 2 to 6% of venture capital funding, the odds were stacked against her. Undeterred, Jewel developed proprietary AI driven software, built strategic alliances with major industrial suppliers, and relentlessly pitched at tech competitions nationwide. Her persistence paid off. PartPick was acquired by Amazon, making Jewel the first African American female founder from Atlanta's ecosystem to achieve such an exit. Jewel didn't just solve a technical problem, she opened doors for countless underrepresented founders pursuing ventures in deep technology. She demonstrated that innovation can come from anyone, anywhere, if we're willing to look beyond our preconceptions about what an innovator looks like. These stories reveal something profound that LaGenia emphasized throughout our conversation. When we talk about innovation, we often focus on technology or processes, but true innovation is about perspective. It's about seeing opportunities where others see only problems. These women didn't succeed despite the barriers they faced. They succeeded because navigating those barriers gave them unique insights. They developed resilience, creativity, and problem solving skills that became competitive advantages in the marketplace. This is what LaGenia calls perspective arbitrage, the ability to create value from a viewpoint that others don't share or understand. It's not just about overcoming obstacles, it's about transforming those obstacles into stepping stones toward innovation. Now, why does this matter beyond these individual success stories? It matters because we're facing unprecedented challenges as a society: climate change, technological disruption, social division. And the solutions to these challenges won't come from conventional thinking. They'll come from people who see the world differently, who bring fresh perspectives to old problems. Black women entrepreneurs aren't just building businesses, they're modeling an approach to innovation that we desperately need. They're showing us that resilience isn't just about enduring hardship, it's about transforming it into opportunity. They're demonstrating that authenticity isn't just a personal value, it's a business strategy. And they're proving that diversity isn't just a moral imperative, it's an innovation imperative. The conventional narrative suggests that the most privileged with the fewest barriers will innovate most effectively. But what if the opposite is true? What if navigating complexity and overcoming obstacles, which actually builds the very capabilities that drive innovation? This insight doesn't minimize the very real barriers that exist. We absolutely need to address systemic inequities in access to capital, networks, and opportunities. But it does suggest that we've been missing something important in how we think about innovation and resilience. So, where do we go from here? How do we harness this powerful insight? I challenge you today to do something radical. Look at what you've considered your greatest disadvantages and ask yourself how they might actually be sources of unique strength. What do you see that others don't? What have your challenges taught you that gives you a perspective advantage? For investors in the room, I challenge you to recognize that the next billion-dollar company might come from someone who doesn't look like the founders you typically fund. Your blind spots aren't just moral failings, they're missed opportunities. For business leaders, I challenge you to rethink how you build teams. Diversity isn't just about representation, it's about bringing together people whose different life experiences create collective intelligence that can solve problems in ways a homogeneous team never could. For policymakers, I challenge you to create conditions where diverse entrepreneurs can thrive, not just because it's fair, but because it drives innovation that benefits everyone. And for those of you who have felt marginalized, overlooked, or underestimated, I challenge you to see your unique perspective not as a burden, but as your greatest asset. The world doesn't need more people who think alike. It needs your distinct vision. It needs your voice. It needs the innovation that only you can bring. The Renaissance being led by Black women entrepreneurs isn't just a heartwarming story of overcoming odds, it's a powerful blueprint for how we might approach innovation in the 21st century. It shows us that sometimes our greatest disadvantages can become our most powerful advantages if we have the courage to leverage them. The question isn't whether adversity can be transformed into advantage. These women have already proven it can. The question is, will we have the wisdom to learn from their example? Thank you.